Hello, everyone. Russell and I are going to draw motor cars shortly, and I thought it would be fun to just pick something fun to draw. Russell will be on here shortly. He'll be on this side. I'll be on that side. And hopefully we can continue without interruption. We will see, though. I'm just trying to make it so I can. Here's Russell. Invite. We only decided we would draw motor cars, so we have no other agenda. Hello, Ms. Marilyn. Russell is going to be joining me side by side, and we're going to draw cars for fun. Here's Russell. Okay, he has his thing. Add to stream. Hello, Russell.
Hello.
I can
It's
hear
not the
you.
best view, but
What?
how is everything going?
Everything's going fine. I'm just moving my thing in front of the camera. You're doing a vertical format. I'm going horizontal because I might have a cunning plan. So we're drawing cars, huh?
Yes, motor cars.
Motor cars, okay.
Ooh.
Do you have
Okay.
any idea of how you're thinking of cars?
I mean, when I think of the term motor cars, I suppose I think of like the old-fashioned kind, you know.
Mm-hmm. The kind with the
the kind
like what? I'm only getting part of your conversation here.
It might be the connection. I don't know.
Okay.
You hear me though?
You think of old. I can hear you now. Yeah. So motor cars, you think of old-timey ones, meaning what age do you think of a motor car?
Oh, I suppose the 1910s.
1900s,
roughly.
Yeah. One of the things that I like about looking at older cars is before they had wind tunnels and aerodynamic things, they didn't care about making them streamlined, so consequently they could be really fun.
Yes, they end up as like these wild gadgets full of all these extra unnecessary parts.
Yeah, and it's just really, really cool how they used to look, and now cars, they all look alike to me, but then again, I'm not really a car person.
I can tell you they certainly do all look alike.
They do look alike. Okay. I know when I'm taking a lift and it'll say, you know, Andre will be arriving in a Lexus with this license plate. Well, thank God they
And it's
show
like,
what
well,
the
that's a
license.
lot of help.
Yes, a Lexus. Now, I want Dominic to arrive in a four-seater Duesenberg touring car with white walls. That's what I want.
Dude's touring car. I want the pumpkin drawn by horses.
Oh, I see. You want that one. Well, I was thinking it would be sort of fun to come up with ideal cars. Like, what would I design my car to?
Oh, I was thinking something along the same lines for later on
Uh-huh.
in this in our whatever you want to call this.
I'm making a two-seater, a three-wheeled car, and I'm designing it to be my thought process is interesting right now. I'm trying to figure out how I want to describe it.
I'm actually using reference images right now, and I'm looking at these
Oh,
cars, and I don't know where to sit.
you
Like
don't
I
know where
have
to.
no idea how you would sit on these things.
I see.
What in the world was that?
That was my alarm saying when an hour was up, but we started early.
Oh, I
That's
see.
what I want my car to sound like. I want it to hop. It'll go boing
I
boing
mean,
boing. It won't
normally
have
that's
wheels.
what you don't want your cartoon car to sound like, because usually that's the sound when they break.
Yeah. Well, so you're looking at old cars,
Yes, and
and
well,
you
I'm looking at old cars, and then there's some that are just like little tiny model cars that people made.
I see. Um, so when you said I don't know where to sit, and I was thinking, I mean, there used to be in the olden days, you'd have a driver that would sit in the front seat
Yes,
with,
and then you sit on top, right?
and then you would sit in the back seat.
Okay.
And the back seat was usually the one that had a roof over the top. So and that was sort of it was a coach, you know, like a horse and buggy kind of a coach.
Yes.
And that would be hidden from view if you put the curtains down, or it would have a roof over the top if you wanted.
So it
And
basically took its design from a stagecoach.
a stagecoach, yeah. And but there were so many different kinds of coaches. There was, you know, one that would hold one person only, and one that would hold two people, and one that would
And
hold
one that
four
would
people,
tell you to throw like a Hail Mary.
and one would that kind of coach, yes. Um, so if you look at my drawing, this is a drawing for one person, a car for one person only, and the it's designed. The body is designed like a human from the waist down to the feet. So here's the butt, right?
Yes.
And then in the butt crack is the back wheel. It's a three-wheeled car. Okay, then the front part is the upper leg, and then the knee is where the bumper is, then the lower leg, and then the foot becomes the mud flap for the front tires. How's that for a design?
I see. That's quite a car designed off a human body, you said. So it
Well,
would fit like a.
in the top view of this car, what would that look like? So you have the two knees, you've got the two wheels, you've got the windshield,
It's
and
basically like the Renaissance standard of car manufacturing, isn't it?
yes, where the human is the ideal.
Yes, like with how they did with architecture using human measurements
Yes.
to determine.
So here's what my car would look like. You've got the wheels, and then the back wheel is back under here in the butt crack of the thing, and then you sit. There's a chair for here and the steering wheel. You sit sort of where the junk would be on the human figure, right?
So you
See
sit at the crotch area, basically.
you sit in the crotch, and the back looks like this with the one wheel. I think that's kind of a hot looking car.
Oh. Well, obviously the car with the crotch is going to be the hot one, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to see your drawing now. You're turning it, you're changing
It's
it.
it's not anything good.
It's not anything good. Okay.
I did motor cars specifically because I knew I would fail.
I see. Okay. So let's say
now
I
we're
wanted,
moving on to.
that was a car that was sort of built for one person, I think.
Right.
I'll make one that will be how many people should get in this car. I think see, I'm trying to figure out where I want to have the captain, the helmsman of my car. I think I'm going to have him be in the back, like a gondolier.
Right.
So
Where
this, and it's sort of shaped like a boat. Has this nice little bow, and the gondolier, he has to stand. That's what he does. So, and his feet only are doing the controls because this particular gondolier chauffeur also sings. So he uses his arms to play the guitar. I think that's a good idea, don't you think?
I think that's a pretty good idea.
So he's sort of strapped because he goes over bumps. We strap him in. He's standing up. I've got my gondolier will have a roof over the passengers with fringe, like the Surrey with the fringe on top.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You're saying you don't sound convinced of this idea, but
I won't be convinced until I see it, Pierre.
okay. So
I need to see your fabulous futuristic inventions before I believe you
okay.
and your famed your imaginary motor cars.
And then the gondolier has one of those hats with the little dingleberries coming down, whatever these things are
Right.
called.
I
Gondoliers
have
wear
no
those.
idea. I do not believe that gondoliers wear those. No.
It's matadors do or something. Some of the bullfighter
That
people.
is, yeah, they are. That is more of a Spanish thing and not an Italian thing, as far as
Well,
I'm aware.
this is a car that spans the cultures. So anyway,
Right.
the gondolier person is in the back there. He is able to make the car turn and go fast and stop by using just his feet. There's a little flag right there, so you've got the people. I think I made my gondolier too big. I will have the bow look like a gondolier bow, though, with the little ice glass cutting like thing that they have. That little thing that looks like that.
Mm-hmm.
What are they? What I think they represent. I think they have 7 notches in them. I think they represent the 7 neighborhoods of Venice or something.
Something to
Okay.
that effect.
What are the wheels going to look like here then, Mr. F?
That's cool.
There has to be room for a motor.
I mean, the wheels could be like those wheels you see on the big steamboats.
Oh, paddle wheel?
Yes, a paddle wheel. It's not very good for traversing land, but you know, this. We're not doing practical cars here.
Well, this will have 8 bicycle tires, nice thin rimmed bicycle tires. And there's some sort of motor here with exhaust coming out. My parents knew this guy that restored vintage cars, and his garage was maybe 2 miles away from here. And every once in a while he would just show up. There wouldn't be, he wouldn't send a text, because this is before there was texting. He would just suddenly show up, and in the driveway was a Duesenberg with white wall tires, and he would drive us around the block in these $500,000 cars now, I suppose.
So he was basically coming over to flex his Duesenberg.
He was flexing his Duesenberg, someone else's Duesenberg, though. Unfortunately, now it looks like I've got Carmelite nuns in the gondolier here. They're on their little visit to the Holy Land or something. Anyway,
going to the Holy Land in the gondolier.
One of my favorite parts of one of the cars was it had 2 windshields. There was one in front of the driver's front seat, and then there was one between the front and the back seat. And so when you drove with the top down convertible version, it wouldn't muss your hair or something. Okay, another automobile.
Frequently, this is how it happens to those who might be watching. I'm an extremely slow draftsman, and Pierre Gustafson can just knock them out like nothing.
Like nothing. Well, I'll try to be more slow here.
No, it's fine. We each drive at our own pace.
I'm just trying to figure out how to make what I'm going to do for the next drawing. I think I need to have someone give me this is a car for a soccer mom, and then I have to know what that is. This is a car for...
So that would be a tank?
A tank. A heavily armored car.
Yes. Because it makes her feel safe while she's dropping off her kid.
Yes.
Also, she's flexing how rich her husband is.
Yes. Well, this is a car based on a paper airplane. So it's going to have this point at the front.
I heard that the company that made the paper airplane cars folded a long time ago. That
Oh,
pun turned out better than I expected it would.
it did. It turned out perfect. Yes, they did fold. Okay, so there's the back. I think the front. What is the front of my paper airplane origami car going to look like? It's just this wedge. It's don't get anywhere near the front of this car. There's a car that I saw in a movie that had Angela Lansbury in it as a soccer mom. No, she was the wife of a very wealthy businessman or something, but she was up to no good. She played a very bad, evil person in this movie. And she had a sports car, and the doors, rather than opening out toward the front or opening out toward the back, they
Right.
slid into the car. You would open up, it was like a sliding door. And
That doesn't make sense.
no, it was really a cool car. Let me see if I can find an image of it and show you. Todd, do you know the name of the car company that had the doors that would slid into the body? Kaiser?
Oh dear. Well, I suppose if you're trying to conjure up an image of a person who's ruthless and
Yeah.
dictatorial, you would want the Kaiser.
Kaiser car door. Well, we're just broadcasting. I thought if I could find a picture of it. Okay, here we go. Maybe. Yes. So see, Russell. Oh, shit.
Today I'm trying.
Okay, here we go, Russell. Look.
Okay.
This means you can cruise with a little bit of
See the car,
less wind noise.
the door is.
Oh, I see what you mean. Actually, now
Yeah.
that does make sense. Yeah, I thought when you said slides into the car, that it slides into the areas where the passengers would presumably be sitting.
No, it slides to the front. That's pretty cool, though. The Kaiser Darren is what it was called. Uh-oh. So we're back to the folded car. So if this has two wheels in the back, does it have two wheels in the front or just one wheel? I think this one can have one. Has Russell ever heard of the Tucker? Have you heard of the movie The Car Tucker? Russell?
Nope.
It was a movie that came out with one of the bridges. It's a true car called the Tucker.
And it was made out of aluminum. It had a helicopter engine in it. It had the first car that had disc brakes, first car that had seat belts.
Are you listening to this?
Yeah, I'm listening.
It had seat belts. One of the neat things that it had was a light.
You would turn the steering wheels and the lights would move.
You would turn the steering wheel. Initially, he wanted to have the fenders move, the front fenders move with the lights, but one of his engineers said that they tried that with a something or other car and it caused accidents because the wind flow would get in the way. So, but what he did was he made the inside, the Tucker had two headlights on each side like it's supposed to, and then it had one in the middle that would rotate left and right depending on whether you were turning left or right. So you can see where you were going to go.
And the big three
Auto people didn't want him.
shut it down.
Yeah, the movie is kind of good. They evidently he had some sort of government subsidiary help.
Subsidiary, yes.
And even though he had produced during World War II, he made the fiberglass or the whatever, the turrets. Here's the Tucker car. Oops. Here's what the Tucker looked like.
Very snazzy.
The last one sold for $2.5 million.
So
48 of them. So 2.
This one, I have made a car in which it is. You have a horse on a treadmill here, and then you have this weirdo up top. There. Here you have the carrot with which to make the horse run the car.
Oh, good.
It's a perfect system. It can never go wrong.
Except you can only go in a straight line, it looks like.
I'm certain it could only go in a straight line. There's no steering mechanisms, but
No. I like the balloon basket that they're all enjoying the straight line in.
Yes, I have no idea how it's holding together, but it is.
Well, I like that.
Let's
like
see.
that. Well, here I haven't quite figured out where you sit here on the. I think here you can watch where you've been. You're looking. You aim to the back. The passengers can sit there in the back, and there can be one here that's sunbathing.
The Kaiser Darren, is that the one you looked at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this person is reclining. There's a little thing there. So you can sit in the back. You can fish off the back. And the person who's driving, oh, I see. So this is all going to a point. And maybe this is what your thing is making me think of. But the driver straddles the wedge edge end of my thing like a horse. So this can hold up to 6 people. This car, I've decided. There can be
all the better.
The one person here who's very bow-legged. They're driving it here. Then there can be 2 people side by side lying down. That's like a sleep number bed. They're there, and then there can be 3 people in the back aiming out. I think that's a nice way to do it. There's a wheel here.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And then there's 2 wheels under there. I think that's a perfectly good automobile. Of course, everyone gets wet. People on your car have to go in a straight line, and these people all get wet.
Well, my people would get wet too. There's no roof overhead.
Oh, there isn't. Okay.
The horse wouldn't get wet, but they would.
Oh, yes. Well, the horse has to retain traction. Good. Okay. Well, I'm not quite sure where. I guess the engine. All of this could be engine. No brakes, though. There's no brakes on this. Oh, the fishing pole is a brake. He casts his fishing pole and a little hook will go into the ground or around the tree or whatever, and he'll stop. That's how that works. Okay.
Brilliant.
Okay, next. Got the gondola one. There's so many different kinds of cars out there that are fun, but they don't make them anymore. For, you know,
Probably for somewhat good reasons.
I mean, you've got the double-decker bus idea, got the car that also can go in the water.
All highly impractical stuff, but very wonderful.
Wonderful, yeah. The rumble seats, there's so many cool cars in movies. There was one movie, and the name of the car in this movie was called the Wombat, and it was modeled after an actual car that was manufactured, and it's a very cool car. But let me show you Wombat. I don't know who. It looks like the Darth Vader car. Look at that.
Oh my.
And there's the bow. That cool?
That is very cool. Why don't they make cars like this?
Um,
I can answer that. It's because the world is an unfair place.
yes. Anyway, it's the Flying Wombat Lewis block video. The official title of the thing is the Phantom Corsair, but it was in a movie called, and they referred to it as the Flying Wombat. And the dashboard of this thing is really cool. Flying. You know, I search for Flying Wombat and I get pictures of flying wombats. I want a picture of the dashboard on this car. It's just, if you look at it here, it's just one long line of round dials.
Jeez.
Going from one end of the thing to the other. And I'm going to see if I can find the movie. The 1938 Flying Wombat. The name of the movie, I guess, is The Flying Wombat. One of the most spectacular cars that appeared in 1938 was the Flying Wombat, the car that thinks for you.
I see.
It was from the movie.
So it was the first smart car.
Yes. It was in the movie, 1938 movie called The Young at Heart, starring Douglas Fairbanks Jr., Paulette Goddard, and Janet Gaynor and Billy Burke. And there's just a really funny scene where he's the owner is driving the car, and its speedometer, if I remember correctly, was just this long, like horizontal thermometer gauge like thing. Didn't have an arrow pointing. It was just this big long thermometer like thing.
Let's see.
It was a pretty cool car, though. Let's just see if something happens here. Here's the car.
Flower boy. Goodbye, Father. Don't be too lonely. I'm sorry. Well, better go in. Huh?
With its magical doors.
Please inside. Oh. Tell your mother, my boy.
Okay, look at the thermometer here. Listen. See the
So that it's gauging the heat of the engine, presumably.
the horn
Well,
sounds like the Ride of the Valkyries.
how could you? Yeah, how could you not want a car like this?
Oh, why didn't Miss Georgianne come? This would have cheered her up so.
Now, do you want to see what a wombat will really do, ma'am?
Yes, yes.
I love that speedometer.
You mustn't do anything when we're going this fast, darling. It might be dangerous.
Not at all, my dear, not at all. This type of motor uses delayed combustion design or method. And that means exactly, putting it quite simply, sir, that means that the cylinder head is recessed to receive the patented shaped piston, which closes off the valve area from the combustion chamber. Yes, yes. If I were to say that the wombat is the last word in mechanical perfection, I should be withholding the full truth. The wombat is above mechanical perfection. Wombat is ahead of its time, as far ahead of its time as was, Socrates of his. Yeah. Pretty thing, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. Well, Colonel Carlton, I believe in you, and I'd like to put in my order for 3 of them. One for myself, and one for my wife, and one for my, I understand perfectly, sir. I shall deliver the third one to you personally at your club.
And one for my yes, I understand perfectly.
Yes, Mr. Hutchins? I'd like to have a word with you.
I'm trying to turn it off here. Okay, the wombat. Now what are you making?
I'm trying to.
I wasn't
What in the world was?
talking to you.
Oh, that was.
I'm not sure I understand.
Okay. Russell. I'm not talking
Right.
to you, Siri. I'm talking to you, Russell. Are those legs?
So I'm attempting to do a Grecian car.
Oh,
Up here you have the winged victory of Samothrace atop,
okay. Good.
and there are pillars holding up the top. I have yet to add the wheels
I see.
because, as I've said,
Maybe your automobile.
my cars run slower.
Maybe they don't need wheels if they've got wings.
That could be true, except the wings are already a statue. So
I see.
let's see.
Well, I'm gonna start my automobile with. I'm gonna start with the comfort thing first. So it has a lazy boy chair as the starting point. I think that's a perfectly good place to start.
It's all the comforts a modern car needs.
And we've got the brake or whatever it is to make the chair go up or down, recline or not. So we start there. Now, is this a car that's going to allow rain to hit us or not? I haven't decided that yet. I don't know. I haven't figured this out. I'll be there. Okay, so it's a car, and then underneath that is a coffee table, sort of thing. I think that's a perfectly sound beginning. The steering wheel will come out like this. When I was in Italy, my brother and I went to the Museum of Science and Technology, whatever that is in Italian.
Il Museo della Scienza e della Tecnologia, credo.
Okay, that's what it was then. And they had a tandem bicycle there, except it was a tandem bicycle where you would sit side by side. You wouldn't sit in front and in back. And that was really cool. And I think it was a bicycle. I don't think it was a tricycle. I think it actually had only two wheels. And the framework holding your big fat asses up I think the pedals were connected where, my right foot would be on the pedal that was connected to the pedal that your left foot would be on. So I think you really did have to both sort of pedal
To
the
both
same
actually
way.
pedal.
But I like that. It was very easy to see that you couldn't really turn a corner very quickly because you would fall over. I think that if the bicycle tilted too much, the furthest left toward the inside of the curve, the furthest pedal would hit the ground. If you know what I mean.
I think I know what you mean. Don't know what you mean.
Okay, so this has to have.
Where
I keep on
cars
coming
really...
up with three-wheeled automobiles here. I think Okay, here's the motor.
Well, it's like they say, three's a car. That wasn't a good one. Erase that from the books.
I didn't.
All the better then.
Okay, I didn't. I missed it. But so the drive shaft goes back there. There's one little tiny steering wheel up at the bow here. There's no place for luggage in the Lazy Boy car. Oh, you can put luggage. I'm sorry. There's a place right here. It's a little. There's two spots. There's a shopping basket in the front and a shopping basket in the back. I think that's pretty sexy.
I think so.
Can I see a close-up of yours, Mr. Winged
Hold
Victory of
on,
Samoth
I
Race?
want to wait until it's finished.
I see.
That one, yeah. I basically,
Okay.
as you can see, not terribly developed.
Well,
unlike Greek society.
I like it though. I think there's something to be said for, the Winged Victory. I mean, the Rolls-Royce had it on the front of their car. Their mascot was this Winged Victory kind of thing. But theirs had a head on it, I think. The Winged Victory doesn't have a head, does it?
Nope, it does not.
Wouldn't it be neat if they found the arms for the Venus de Milo, and she was like wringing out,
and it had like little hairs on it or something?
Well, just she was wringing, peeling a banana or wringing a dish rag or something. Can they tell what her arms were supposed to be doing by studying the muscles of the shoulder?
I mean, maybe they could. I mean, honestly, you would have to. Presumably, you would have to study other sculptures of a similar nature and then decide what the arms were doing based on what it looks like the shoulders are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine the Venus de Milo is just holding like two babies out away from her. Just like, what the hell are these things?
Or two decapitated baby heads.
Yes, two decapitated baby heads.
I think
I can buy that.
I think that sounds like that would be the most plausible thing that they would have. Okay, well that's good. Let's go to the next automobile. Shall I make one based on the idea of a banana?
The banana mobile.
Yeah, the banana. The peels will be these little tapered things that go off the back that would hold the wheels.
Would you say it's a car with a lot of appeal?
Yes, exactly. That's what I would say. Oh, mister.
Don't invite me to parties, people. I ruin everything.
So the back wheels are very spring-loaded-y because of they're sort of attached to the metal peel-like thing. Okay, so that's good. The front peel goes forward. For some reason, why would you do that? Oh, that makes the roof for the chauffeur. So he's
Okay.
sitting here.
This
What?
next car I made was it is a pile of horses on top of a skateboard.
Okay, so it's a multi-horse-powered skateboard.
Multi-horse-powered skateboard, yes, indeed.
Well, the banana mobile comes in one color, comes in yellow.
What about brown? But I think brown is only for the old models, though, right?
The old models, yes. When a new model comes out, the old models automatically get brown. So,
Well, the new model would have to be green.
the newest model would have to be green. Yes, the prototypes are green, but when they're put in manufacture, they're okay. So we've got a peel. We've got that. Where's the engine going to be? This could all be storage for stuff. This has to have a purpose in life, this banana mobile. I think it's going to have it's sort of its back wheels. It's almost perfectly balanced that it's only on the two wheels. The back wheels barely touch. I don't know about this. You still there, mister?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what kind of car to do next. I suppose I have an idea.
I'm just looking at an eBay auction. Cedar told me about a Waterman flexible nibbed pen that's at $570. And I'm just trying to see if that's still my eBay. Watching 2 items ending soon. $560, 6 hours left. This is a pen that I would have thought I would sell maybe for $200 on a good day. Looks like it has a very nice nib, and they say it's very flexible, but $560 is a hell of a lot of money for that.
I will trust your word. And actually, I was watching a documentary this morning about fascist Italy and its desire to conquer language. And actually, I saw they were doing examples of like some certain advertisements and things in magazines getting past the censors, and one of them was Waterman's ideal fountain pens.
Oh, yeah. What were they saying that was so censorable.
Oh, well, you just didn't use the English language or any foreign language. Everything had to be in Italian.
I see.
So, and of course, that meant that if you had words like chauffeur or bar, you had to or cocktail, you had to replace those with Italian names. So in those examples, chauffeur became autista. And the two others here, they did not. That one stuck, but these two did not. The ones that didn't stick were for cocktails. They tried to call it an arlecchino, which would be basically harlequin.
Okay.
And the bar, my favorite, was for the bar because they tried to change it to qui si beve, which would literally be like here one drinks.
Okay. Quisibile.
Qui si beve. Beve.
Oh, beve, beve.
Yes. We'll get you understanding Italian one of these days. And then you can, torture yourself by talking to Italians and myself.
And you. There's a fun Saul Steinberg drawing of Piazza San Marco in Venice, I think. And there's lots of pigeons flying around or sitting on the ground, and lots of people on the outdoor cafes. But it shows two men in the middle, and they're talking with their hands, and they have little dotted lines describing what it is they're talking about. And one was a figure of a woman. I don't know what the other guy was doing. Maybe his was more abstract. That was pretty cool. Okay, here is a bus. This is for the stadium, people going to the stadium. They're already in rows that go uphill. And you got the chauffeur. These cars probably exist.
Like I said, it's easy to tell that you know how cars are constructed, and I'm just coming up with platforms with wheels beneath them.
Yeah.
It shows you the different ways our minds work, I think.
Well, I think our minds do work differently, but I don't know whether any automobile engineer would recognize anything we're doing as even remotely feasible as a car.
I would like to think that a pile of horses on a skateboard would be feasible as a car. I mean, I would like to think that.
And here you've got a bird cage.
Yes, I've got a bird cage above a platform. I do not know where I'm going at this point, nor does the bird.
Okay. Well, don't turn it off. You turned it off.
No, I didn't turn it off. I tore it off.
Okay, tore it off. Tear it off.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to try and do one more, and then I'm out of here.
Okay, well, one more is good. I'll do the same.
Let's see.
Color gray. Let's see here. I keep looking at things around here and like how would how could I translate that into a car? It might be a shoe or a samovar or a. There was a bicycle in Boston, a bicycle tour guide tour thing you could sign up and take.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, if you will, a circular picnic table. Okay, have that in
Right.
your little head. And so there's, let's say, 10 places to sit down. And they all were connected to pedals that were connected to a bicycle. And there was a bicycle contraption, or maybe like a tricycle, maybe it was like a tricycle, that was in the center of the table, underneath the center of the table. So everyone on this bicycle contraption was looking at each other and pedaling. And they had handlebars, but only one handlebar that was operated by the tour guide could actually steer. But everyone had to supply
Okay.
the power to the
I
bicycle.
think I've seen things like that.
And it was the first time I saw it, it was really funny because you saw 10 sets of legs all going, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And then the contraption, it was very smooth on the ground. You didn't really see the wheels even. So it almost looked like this huge spider because the legs were all moving around and the thing would sort of hover because you couldn't see the wheels because they were hidden. It was really a neat looking thing. So, how do we do the next automobile? This one will be based on, I'm thinking, I'm not getting very far.
That's my entire life.
Thinking and not getting far.
Yes.
I'm going to make sort of the opposite of the first one I did. This time the butt is in the rear, and so it has quite a lot of suspension, this one. More like a motorcycle looking thing. What?
It's like a grasshopper.
Yeah. So you sort of sit on the back here like you're sitting on a, I don't know, kind of like you're on a bike seat. It's a leg on either side of the thing. The thing is, if you hit a bump or hit something, you're going to slide forward and you're going to end up rupturing your stuff, your junk. I like this though. It has a certain look to it. We're getting all sorts of clickbait porn people watching us.
Oh dear.
It sounds like I'm at the dentist when you're sharpening your.
Oh yeah, I know. Every time I used to carry one of those, I could still do that, but I had one of those that I was carrying around in my bag with me when we would go out for a while, and it would completely scare the wits out of my mom every time I did that.
Yeah.
Very amusing. Got me in a lot of trouble.
Yes. As well it should. I have a book in Boston called Dashboards, and it's, as the name suggests, it's dashboards of cars, and some of them are sports cars and some are station wagons, but they're usually somehow somewhat classical or well known. One was a Jeep, and the dashboard is very simple, miles an hour, gas, temperature. And then there was a dashboard for some Rolls Royce owned by some Maharaja of India. And the dashboard, it looked like a tank. It was very unattractive, but that's where the servant sat. You did the part where the Maharaja was silk and leather and gold and mahogany, but the chauffeur didn't need any of that stuff. But there were these nice little toggle switches like you see on a lawnmower or something, and one was searchlight, and bell. There was one that you could ring, you could turn on to get the cows and the elephants out of your way when you're driving through Bombay or wherever the Maharaja needed to go that day.
Right.
See, this looks sort of like a lightning bolt. That'll be it's the new Chevy Bolt.
I feel like there's already a car that's named the Bolt.
Well, it's a Volt. This is Bolt.
Oh right. You are correct. See, folks, he knows his cars.
I know my cars, the Bolt. But again, if you hit a bump or slide forward, I guess you need to have a seatbelt on this car. Otherwise, you're going to hurt yourself. Well, you'll have to, if you want, Russell, you should post these at least on your Instagram.
Oh, I do not want.
You don't want to do that?
I would not insult people's eyes with that kind of material.
I see.
But there we are. There is my final car, which is just a car which is far too large for this gentleman.
Well, it's very nice. Well, Russell, this was fun. And my device didn't crash even once. But we'll talk later. So,
Okay.
ciao.
Ciao,
Arrivederci.
ciao.
Ciao, ciao.